This week on this episode 61 of This Disc is Great with Steve and Nate. Whoop, all right, we're back. Cool. We are doing the Innova Caiman. So, new mid-range from Innova. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Steve?
Yeah, we got a new rating from Innova as 5.5. This is the first time I've seen any decimals, so...
I think the Rock 3 has a fade of 3.5, so it's...
That was the X3.
X3, yeah.
So, we're getting into the decimals now. So, 5.5, glide of 2, high-speed turn of 0, and a fade of 4. So, I'm like, whew, we got some beef up in here. So, we're finally getting to the point where we're rivaling discs that are staples in people's bag, where Innova just hasn't had anything just stupid overstable to fight any wind to have incredible fade. We ready for...
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Innova says this: drawing inspiration from the Gator, the Caiman muscles its way into Innova's mid-range lineup with a strong fade and minimal glide. The Caiman thrives in a headwind. The micro bead gives the rim a smooth feel, perfect for power forehand throws. Star Plastic delivers durability and consistency that meets the standards of touring pros.
All right, so yeah, this is they've kind of been going every other on their releases with the fancy big star stamps here, but I like the art. Got some cool art on it. So it's got the Caiman is apparently a type of gator, a type of alligator. So this is a modified version of the Gator. So I don't know if you can see very well in the small corner picture we got going on, but the Caiman you can see there has that really tiny micro bead, and you can't really see here quite super well, but the Gator has a much bigger putter-like bead on it. So this is a little faster than a Gator, doesn't have that bead. Honestly, this is Steve's Heiserbomb mortar, and they look nearly identical to me. The mortar has just a slightly bigger bead, and so what I think this is Innova manufactures the mortar for Heiserbomb, but they would make more money if they sold it themselves. So this is just a slightly different mortar so that they can capitalize on that popularity. But so other than the Gator and the mortar, which we just mentioned, what are some discs we think should fly like the Caiman?
Numbers like, first thing is the Justice. I was just like, gonna be super overstable. It's slow, doesn't have a whole lot of glide.
Which puts it in the same conversation as the Anvil from a couple weeks ago.
But yeah, the mortar, the mortar is definitely what I was leaning towards.
It feels like a mortar, for sure. The deflector, also from MVP, that we should do in 2 weeks. We filmed it on the same day, and they threw almost exactly the same. So I feel like shape-wise, the mortar and the Anvil and the deflector are very close. So this is a little smoother, a little more rounded, has a little bit better feel in the hand. But let's get to some videos and see if she flies like she says. Because I mean, we had the Rat that came out a while back that was definitely straighter than its numbers. So let's see if this is true to numbers or not.
Predictions on the first throw?
I mean, it's got to be a Steve Heiser, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I hope you guys like the shirt too. I just finally decided to wear that.
Distances. People guessing.
Oh yeah, so we do give away both the discs that we threw for the review. Somebody's going to win one if they guess which of us threw it the farthest and how far we threw it. Closest without going over, because Reeser's mean. And then the other one's just going to go to a comment or a question that we enjoy. So talk to us, ask us questions, comment on what we're saying, disagree with Steve, whatever you want to do. And we'll give this stuff away. So Steve's got a nice little approach Heiser here.
So the goal of the day was pump it as hard as I can and see what happens. Where the disc is designed to not go anywhere, letting you have an idea, ripping out as hard as I could. I was getting the idea of where would I put this in my shot selection, and every time I was just like, oh man, this thing is really just dying out at the end. So starting off with that big hyzer, I was like, oh, I'm in for some trouble if I'm trying to make a new world distance record.
Yeah, this is not gonna break any of our distance records. It's not going super far, but that's the same kind of approach hyzer you're gonna be throwing on a lot of holes on your second shot. So just being able to pop it out there and trust it to swing all the way back is exactly what you want out of a disc like this. Got this one a little flatter, a little less high.
Yeah, just absolutely predictable.
Not that much farther though.
No, so just the power needed to get this disc going is going to feel almost the same, where maybe you're going to get 10 feet farther from just giving it a little more air. It's actually pretty interesting to see the disc fly, and you're just like, wow, I thought I totally destroyed the disc, and it's like, well, you kind of did.
Yeah, again, no flip up. It's not like the Rat where we're having problems on it with it flipping up on us and not being as overstable as we thought. So that is a little bit of a grip lock, a little bit of an anhyzer angle. I throw most of my high-speed drivers on that, and that's getting close to roller, definitely flipping. Ripped into it, and it just immediately was trying to turn and come out of that. So even on a grip lock, super hard release, this is fading back really consistently. So this is super overstable, just like they said it was. And putting everything into it and barely cracking 300, this is not gliding very far either. So again, getting over on that, kind of held straight for a while, and it's immediately wanting to get down. So again, that's putting everything into it, and we hit 318. So this would fit in a very similar place to where my Justice does on the backhand. I'm throwing it super hard and knowing it'll only go so far. That's where I pull my Justice out in a lot of those situations where I don't want to go any farther than 280, and so I can throw it, and it's gonna only go that far. Also, I can throw it into the wind and trust it. I need this. I don't know how well this is going to skip with how it doesn't have the same rim as the Justice does, but this grass is too tall to really tell. So, but those like low skip shots around corners, there's some holes at Hummel where I can see myself using this to shape some shots. Really reliably overstable. I love the feel on the forehand.
It's
grip.
very comfortable. It's actually not that deep of a rim compared to some other discs. So your finger almost fits perfectly within, well, at least mine.
Yeah.
I don't have the largest of hands, but for that feel, having that disc there, it just feels right.
Yeah. And for me, I never liked the Gator for forehands because that bead.
Yep.
That bead just messed with me.
Sitting there.
Yeah. So this feels so much better, and that's not a super high power flick. That's a nice little pitch up approach. That's what you want. That's what this disc is going to be doing a lot.
I thought I gave it a little more pop, but as soon as I let it go, I was like, all right, I forgot. This thing's mean. It's mean, so we got to get on it.
Steve came over, like when I was walking back after measuring his throws once, he goes, these are too overstable. I don't like them. But yeah, this is what they're for. They're for those little pitch up approach shots where they're going to die and not go very far.
Maybe I'd be better at golf if I used more of these kind of shots.
Couldn't hurt. So that's a pretty good pop flat, and that's like half as far as I can max out on with my distance driver. So it's, again, going straight very, very little and then wanting to turn and get out of it. So again, approach flicks. This is your not throw it too far disc. Going to be good for a lot of those things. I think you got one or two more. What?
How's that UDisc logo taste?
I mean, pretty good. They've hooked us up with free accounts, so go support UDisc. If your disc members get UDisc free, but if you're not a disc member, go check UDisc out. It's $5 a year. Totally worth it. All of our distances are measured through there, and they treat us really nice. So that one's popped on a little bit more of an anhyzer angle, forcing it over. But again, forcing it over, and it's coming back. The same kind of flicks I would expect my Justice to do. At 263, that's as far as I'm getting that.
We should have tried like almost like a tomahawk to see how much it really comes out, because this thing can take a lot of torque.
Yeah, I mean, that is a low, super power forehand. I was really trying to mash on it, and gets a little bit of carry with that slight anhyzer angle, but again, still solidly fading out. Anything but my Justices thrown on that isn't coming back. So I actually think these is pretty true to numbers.
Yeah.
Feels really good. Almost all of them are nice and flat. Not pop toppy like the last couple runs of Gators.
No.
I love the feel in the hand. Feels really good. And yeah, it is what it's supposed to be. It flies like the mortar, flies like the anvil, flies like the deflector. Innova did what they set out to do, and I think this is going to replace the Gator for a lot of people who don't like that bead, or the mortar for the Innova guys who've been throwing that. Super, super reliable disc. There's not a whole lot to say about it because it just does what it does. Anything to add there?
I think in relation to my mortar, I'm not sure if my run is a little less.
The color glow
stable.
is a little less stable than other ones
So-
that I've seen.
So that being said, I can definitely feel that this is faster, and I feel it is more overstable. But I definitely would say, if I needed to have a super beef and then something straight with still a good overstable finish, I would have a nice complement from the mortar to my Cayman.
And so is this something you're handing a beginner?
No, please don't let your buddy buy this
Because it's got a cool
because
looking
it's got a
alligator
cool
on it.
stamp. If it's his first day out on the course.
Yeah, this is definitely a more advanced player's utility disc. Like, this is going to be for those specific shots. It's going to be a great upshot disc for a lot of people, so that you can just hammer on it and let it fall. But it's definitely not one that you're going to be crushing for max distance. That's for sure.
Which one is our distance winner?
That's a good question. Let's just do this one.
The orange stock stamp?
Yeah.
Okay. The farthest throw was 318.
Yep.
Nate's farthest throw is 318.
And our closest guess, without going over, was Naomi Downs.
Naomi
315.
Naomi Downs is the
315.
winner.
That's pretty close. So Naomi Downs at 315. You win this pretty stock stamp Cayman. Let's go through some comments, some questions, talk back to y'all. Reese, on you, let us know if there's anything we need to talk about. Anything we don't answer right now, I try to go back through and answer later. Sometimes it's like a week later, but I try to get back to it when I can. Make sure all your questions are answered.
Joe wants to know, what up guys, is Steve slaying Caymans with his tape gun lightsaber? Unless it's seen our Instagram photo.
So he says, if on our Instagram, I was candidly caught playing with my tape gun as a lightsaber. So he said, is he slaying Caymans with his tape
I
lightsaber?
still feel like we need to take the laser guns from the barcode system and like make a boomerang with you like deflecting
Oh,
laser blasts.
David Annenbach Rosales wants to know which one is better, Gator or this?
Better is relative, but I don't like the giant bead on the Gator, so this for me.
I haven't thrown a Gator in such a long time that
Same.
I can't give it a comparison, but I did remember the Gator was just so overstable that I was just like, I just feel like I'm not getting enough distance with it, so I could never find the right time to pull the disc out of the bag.
John Bruce says moo, and a bunch of cow emojis.
I put something else in the box that has the little moo sound maker, and I keep opening it and like laughing every time. It's the best. I keep forgetting it's there, and then it makes me happy.
Davis Carvin wants to know, what would be a great disc to make sure I don't overshoot the basket? That's
This.
relative, but that, yeah.
That's what this is for.
The question is, what does he throw so he stops overshooting the basket? I would say if you're at the range where you need a mid-range, this is definitely the way. But you might just be throwing too fast of a disc when you're in a short range, unless you're running it and missing it by 10, 15 feet. But if you're missing by 20 or more, then I would say your selection's probably just a little too fast.
Corey
That-
Ross wants to know, how does it compare to a Rock 3?
It is way more overstable than a Rock 3.
Oh yeah, not even close.
Ben Thompson says he does like his rat, but he's curious, how are they similar?
So the rat was supposed. So somebody asked how similar is the rat to this. Numbers wise, they should be pretty close. It's 4303, and this is 5204, or 5.5. Sorry, 204. But in our experience, the rat is a little closer to like 4402 at most, or 4401. So this is significantly lower stable than the rat. For me, when I was pumping the rat really hard on a slight hyzer, it would pop up to flat and then just ride out and sit down kind of straight. This, I'm having to crank on an Annie to get it to go straight at all, and it's fighting out and dumping really hard.
Naomi, our winner, would like to know what weights were we throwing on those mid-ranges?
They should both be 175, right?
Both the discs that we threw, these Caimans are 175 max weight.
Yep. We try to keep everything we throw at 175 so that between videos you're getting consistency. Like you're not seeing us throw a super heavy flippy disc next to, and then the next week we're throwing a super light overstable disc, and they look the same because the weights are different. We want to keep it really consistent.
What weight? No, we just did that one. So Sean Drew says the disc, the Caiman needs its own cartoon sound effect when you throw it. He also wants to know any word what's going to be in the September disc member box.
So I think I saw Evan Hoffpower putting the promo together, but the September disc member pack is being sponsored by Discraft. Did I tell you what's in that pack yet, Steve?
Nope.
All right, so I want to ask you to tell us.
Jason Green just told us in the comments, so
Nice.
he's clearly seen.
Thanks, Jason Green. But it is a glow vulture with this really sweet, like Sasquatch throwing a disc stamp from
nice.
Benjamin Hopwood again, doing another artist series disc for us. And then you're getting a reusable scorecard, some kind of a mini disc. Discraft wasn't super clear, so it might be like a mini Ultra Star, or it might be like one of the like mini buzzes. I don't know. We're gonna find that out. A towel and a sticker.
Wow.
So they hooked us up with a really sweet package. We're
That
super
is.
excited about that. The Glow Vulture should be really cool. But yeah, that's next month. And then
Sean Drew also said that it would be fun to watch new player throw them, so maybe we'll sneak myself
Steve.
in some footage sometime. Corey Ross wants to know, is it designated, designed for forehand?
they asked if it was designed for forehand. I think this disc works great either way. I feel like it is kind of a good forehand approach disc for sure. Like the feel is great. But I mean, I throw both ways, and I would definitely throw this disc for both shots.
Got a question here from Justin Williams. Just kind of summarize, and I'll let you guys pick. But he's curious: Anvil, Gator, or the Caiman? Which do you choose for hyzer shots?
Okay, so he gave us the options of Anvil, Gator, Cayman, and asked which one we would pick for this kind of overstable mid slot. What do you think, Steve?
Well, I would probably say Anvil because I know it's absolutely never, ever, ever, ever going to turn over, and so it's just being able to trust that.
For me, it's not Gator because I don't like the bead. I feel like this and the Anvil are so close, and I like both of the feels, but I currently throw a Justice in that slot because up until recently that was kind of the only thing to go to. But I feel like this might be the best feeling out of all of them with the same flight, so I probably would go this if I didn't already own like 4 Justices.
All right, well, there's only a couple more questions. You want to give the other one away?
Sure.
To the next one?
Sure.
Okay, let's see. Justin Williams has a question. He says, it's off topic, but he's curious what's the coolest, craziest thing you guys have seen during a round. Last week, he got to see 2 deer in the basket while he was teeing off.
Nice.
Dude,
So what's the coolest or craziest thing you've ever seen during a round?
dude, the time...
Let's go ahead and keep it PG-13. Because there are some R-rated stories I could tell you that we're going to leave alone.
Come to Omaha, I'll tell you.
So, Nate and I are walking down the fairway. We're literally under trees everywhere.
I forgot about this one.
Where?
And the park, Seymour Smith, is notorious for squirrels. And we're walking and talking, and all of a sudden we just hear this thud and some scurrying. And
You heard a thud.
Right.
I watched it happen.
Oh,
It was great.
So these squirrels just plummet probably good 15, 20 feet
Yeah.
from this limb, and they're right back at it as soon as
So as squirrels do, they were kind of chasing and fighting with each other, and I watched them scurry up the tree, kind of chasing and fighting with each other. They get out on the branches and both slip and like tumble in a ball, like hitting each other, and then they bounce and keep going. It was great. It was hilarious. I had a squirrel once when I was playing a tournament in Atlantic, Iowa. It like followed us for like 4 holes.
Whoa.
It razzed me on my putt. It was eating a walnut right above me as I was trying to make my putt on hole 1, and then like after we all putted out, it ran over to the tee pad of 2 and sat in that tree, and then followed us to the
man.
basket. And, like did that for like 2-3 holes. It was hilarious.
That's great.
Craziest thing I probably ever saw is I was playing terrible at Cliff Drive in Kansas City once, and apparently on Sundays they just have this motorcycle gang that just drives through, and it had like a couple guys who had like weed eaters attached to their bicycles, like a couple of mopeds, like 40, 50, 60 people in this thing. Like it dropped the temperature as they drove by. Just as we were sitting on a that tee pad is backed up, so we've been sitting there a while, and all of a sudden just like 60 people on all these random motorized trikes and bikes and whatnot drove by. It just made me laugh and made me feel less terrible about my day.
Destroyed vehicle at Cunningham on one of the holes there. This is when I moved here.
Oh, well, that's fun. Destroying vehicles in golf courses. I did. There was when we filmed around in Cottonwood Falls, the big putt that I made. Right before I putted that, some dude drove down the fairway of one of the other holes to go fishing. I parked his car next to the basket so he could fish in the creek. That was interesting.
All right, let's go over our winners real quick.
Yeah. So Naomi Downs had the closest guess on distance and wins the stock stamp Cayman.
And Justin Williams is the winner of the proto-stamped red-ish, pinkish Cayman.
Yeah, that one actually got picked because I didn't want to list it. I didn't want to pick a color.
Someone would be upset if we said it was pink. Someone would be upset if we said it was red. So
I have a question.
Reeser has a
Next
question.
week?
Next week, we are going to do the retooled FD2. We were going to do the deflector, but we decided let's not go the same disc back to back. Let's give a little variety. So we're going to do the retooled FD2 from Discmania. Then a deflector.
Is there anything else?
Nope.
Very good.
Bye.
thanks, guys.
See you.